A lot of people work out and get pretty strong. Then they try this Japanese sitting position and realize that they've been working around their restrictions instead of addressing them. This isn't just about sitting. The position is actually the key to unlocking mobility you didn't know you had. Now, I already know that half the comments are going to be people saying they can't do this because they have bad knees. Well, welcome to the club. My introduction to Seiza was after having meniscus surgery to repair my knee. I'm 52 years old and I can comfortably sit like this for extended periods of time. Today I want to show you why this position changes everything about how you move. Let's test this out right now and I'll explain exactly what your results mean for your training. Alright, so squat down to the ground and try to sit back on your heels in this position. Can you get all the way down? Do your ankles feel tight? Can you sit comfortably? Now try to stand up without using your hands. Notice what's working and what isn't. I'm going to show you some cool variations that you can explore, but before that, let's take a look at the Seiza position. This position in Japanese is called Seiza, correct sitting. There are a couple things that are going to help you to eventually comfortably sit in this position, and one thing that I like to focus on is making sure that the distance between the knees are about 3 fists width. Some other key points are to focus on making sure that your toes are together and that you don't have one foot on top of the other. We also want to make sure that we pull our heels inward so that we can place our sit bones on top of our heels instead of opening up our heels and having our hips go in between the heels. Having your toes together as well as sitting on top of your heels is going to keep you in this nice erect posture. If you open up your heels and let your hips drop between your heels, what's going to happen is that you're going to round your back. That's not the posture that we want. Now, chances are you will have some difficulty getting into the full position. But what you can do is use your hands for assistance. And you can start in a position that's going to be good for you, holding this in range and gradually moving your hands back to support you as you lower your hips closer and closer to your heels. Now, one other thing that I would like to say is that a lot of people actually don't have very good ankle mobility, and therefore they're not going to be able to get their foot perfectly flat like mine is here. In that case, just start where you are. And similar to using your hands for support, just gradually sit in this position. You might only be able to sit there for a few seconds, but gradually work on being able to extend that period of time. And over time, your range of motion in the ankles will improve. Now, another great way to practice this is using support like the pillow I have here. All I'm going to do is place this under me so that I can sit comfortably on the pillow. Now, this is going to alleviate a bit of course, the discomfort that you're going to experience, but also allow you to sit for longer periods of time and get comfortable in this end range. And by the way, you don't need a special pillow. Anything will work fine. Now, the formal Seiza is going to build pure ankle flexibility as well as knee tolerance that address specific restrictions that most people don't even know that they have. And we can now start working on standing up from any position that you're in. A key point with this exercise is actually simply bringing awareness to what's going on in your body. So when we do this, we can do this together right now. I'd like for you to start off by bringing attention to your posture, keeping your chest up. When you step back, in this case with my right foot, rather than just stepping back, I'm sliding the foot, staying in contact with the ground, looking at the weight distribution between my body, 50-50. From here, addressing the ground by pulling myself to the ground rather than just falling, I slowly make contact with my knee on the ground. I can place weight on this leg in order to bring my left leg back, toes together, and now I place both of my feet flat on the ground so that I can sit back. Now, when I sit back, I want you to take note that I'm not pushing my hips backward. In fact, I'm actually almost falling backwards. And this is forcing my quads to work and support me right before I pull my hips down to my heels. Now, from this position, rather than leaning forward and taking a step, I drive the hips forward, bringing my hips up over my knees so that I can then come up on my toes. From here, once again, weight onto the right leg. I can then bring my left leg forward, finding balance rather than bending over. I keep my chest up. Nice. Crown to coccyx alignment here. Imagine a string on top of my head pulling me up off of the ground. I can then pull the back leg forward and go to the full standing position. Check yourself again one more time, bringing awareness to all of those points as you're performing this movement. Proper mechanics like I'm demonstrating here are going to protect your spine and reveal true strength. Now the thing is that most people are going to compensate with their back, and that's because their glutes are actually weak and disconnected. So this movement actually is going to teach you how to use your posterior chain correctly. And this is going to carry over to movements like deadlifts, squats, and by forcing both sides to work equally here, you're going to expose weaknesses you didn't even know existed. We can now take the Seiza as well as the stand-up position and further sophisticate it into a very powerful Seiza jump. Now, when we're performing this, there's a few key points that I want you to focus on. First off is making sure that we're swinging our arms up into the air and also driving the hips forward. Now, we've already practiced this from leading with the hips when we brought that one leg up. So when now you're performing this, it's just a matter of swinging your arms as explosively as possible while you're driving your hips forward and pulling your feet underneath. But what you can do is just focus on the hip explosion, place one foot forward, stand up from there, drop into the squat, and then go back. So this is one good modification. It's going to help you first to get the timing down for the hip and the arm swing coordination. Now this movement teaches you how to generate power from compromised positions, and this is exactly what you need when you trip, fall, and have to react quickly in daily life. Now you might be able to squat 300 pounds, but if you can't explosively transition from Seiza to a deep squat, well, you're going to lack the coordination as well as mobility to use your strength in real world situations. The Seiza 2 shrimp squat is another really fun variation that I like working on. The cool thing about this is that we can adjust the movement at any point. For example, driving with the hips, we place one leg forward. We might not have the ability to pull the foot off the floor, load, and then pull the knee up off. What we can do though is keep our toes in contact with the floor. And from here, bring the knee slightly off the floor. And from here, pull our heel to our butt before standing up. Now, when we're working on this, make sure that you're keeping this nice, straight posture, not rounding your back, trying to stand up this way. Remember, the drive is very similar to all the things that we've been doing here up until now, where we're thinking about having crown to coccyx alignment. There's a string on the top of our head pulling us up off of the ground. When we're performing this, we lean forward, have that string pull as we're standing up out of that for the Seiza to the shrimp squat. And the Seiza position is secretly training the exact ankle flexibility and posterior chain activation you need for advanced single leg movements, just like the shrimp squat here. And most people can't even attempt a shrimp squat because they lack that ankle mobility and they can't keep their heel down in that bottom position. But this is really going to help you out with this. So make sure that you feel really, really comfortable with the Seiza first, and then work on that because you're building the foundation for some of the most challenging bodyweight movements. Focusing on static positions is really going to help you when you're working on the Seiza and all the variations that I've shown you today with the movements. For example, if you are having trouble in going from this position, keeping your body straight until you're sitting back on your heels, what you can do is stop midway. Let's say it's just here. Hold this position for a period of time, come on out of it, then you can bring your butt back and sit down. The opposite way you can do as well is pull the hips forward from the bottom, but if you're having trouble lifting, hold this position for a little bit, then you can relax your hips to pull yourself up before standing up out of it. So again, there's any number of variations, if you will, that you can use for this. Another great example is the one with the shrimp squat. Say that we pull the hips up, bring the foot forward, but we're having trouble with the lift. We can simply hang out in this position and let the knee float just slightly off of the ground, strengthening the leg, strengthening the structure, focusing on the posture. And we can do that on either side. Of course, we will find that one side is going to be stronger or have better mobility than the other. And this is where these static positions can really help us out when we're working to improve each of these variations. Consistent practice is going to unlock your mobility. Now, the other thing is that it's teaching your nervous system that these positions are safe. And so your body is going to restrict movement to protect you from positions that it thinks are dangerous. So this daily exposure in a controlled way is going to convince your brain to release that protective tension. Now take 30 seconds a day to practice sitting in this position as well as some of the variations that I shared with you today. Do it while watching TV. Do it while brushing your teeth. Do it after your workout. The thing is, just do it. Get really comfortable with the static positions first, and then you can work towards the jump as well as a shrimp squat. And by the way, this is similar to the assessments and progressions we use in Elements. Now be sure to check out this next video to help you build some bulletproof knees.